Dave here for Ground Station TV and Ready Made RC, and I've got the Flying Cinema CineTank MKII. This is the long arm version of the frame, and it is an awesome build. I've tricked this one out with a lot of bells and whistles, and it's a perfect craft for doing some aerial photography, for fun fly kind of stuff. It's really fast as well. I'm not sure that I'd be using it for racing, but you surely could if that was how you wanted to set up your version of the MKII. So I'm going to blaze through pretty quickly some of the different components I've used on this build, and then we'll go check out some flying. For this setup, all the different parts that I'm using are available at Ready Made RC. Starting with the power combo on this, I'm using the Tiger MN 3508-16 motors, and I'm using some 11x5 HQ props, the carbon composite type. Now these fly really well, it gives it a lot of power, and the props don't end up getting in the way of the GoPro, which is partially why I didn't choose the 12-inch props, which would also be accommodated with this long arm version. I'm running it on a 4S system with the Ready Made RC 4S 4200 size pack that fits perfectly into this back bay here. My radio link is going to be using my Taranis X9D, and that's going to send a signal down to my D8R XP telemetry receiver. That's an 8-channel receiver, and I've got it maxed out at this point with a range of 8 different channels. Those are going to control the different motors, as well as a camera switch and control of the gimbal. For the camera setup, I've got a 3-camera system. Now it's a bit of an overkill, but I had a 3-camera video switch, so hey, why not do a little bit of a 3-camera action? I've got the Ready Made RC Pro 700 camera on top. This is a great all-around camera. It's going to be a perfect FPV flight camera. Gives you great performance in both normal and lower light settings, as you might find at dusk and dawn. The GoPro is going to set out for my middle camera here. Of course, that's what I'm going to be using to record, but I do utilize the live out feature as my second camera on the camera switch. This allows me to frame up my shots and see exactly what the GoPro is seeing through the gimbal. Then on the bottom, I figured, hey, let's put this third camera down below. So I have 2 fixed cameras with the Pro 700 on top and the Ready Made RC Pico wide lens camera on the bottom. And this small little camera makes it easy to mount on a number of different builds and gives me a fixed perspective that I could use to look down below the gimbal. So both of these fixed cameras basically serve the function of giving me a real-time view of what actually is going on with the craft. Sometimes with a gimbal, if the gimbal's at a position that's hard to tell, or it's countering so much of the movement of the craft, a fixed camera is going to help you to realize the actual pitch and angle of your craft. So I like to have a fixed camera on my craft as well when utilizing a gimbal. Really, a 2-camera switch would be just fine. So the 3 cameras are going to run through the Smart FPV video switcher and into the Eagle Tree Vector, which is serving as my on-screen display and the flight controller. As somebody who's done beta testing for the Vector from the early days up to a user on basically all of my craft, fixed wing and multi-rotor, I'm a huge fan of the Eagle Tree Vector. Combined with the on-screen display, it is just one heck of a unit at a really great price. The on-screen display output is going to come from the Eagle Tree Vector, and then I've got that piped into my Immersion RC 600 milliwatt 5.8 transmitter. That's a really great transmitter. I use it on a ton of different builds, and I'm sending through the circular wireless skew antenna. This is also my favorite antenna out there. Its performance is great and build quality is really second to none. There are a lot of great antenna out on the market, but it really is hard to beat the performance and build quality of the circular wireless 5.8 skew antenna. That's what I use on most all of my builds, and it's a really great antenna setup. Another cool piece to the build is the Ready Made RC Prince antenna holder here. This can be adjusted in angle and holds my diversity receiver antenna up in a nice V position. So no matter how I have the craft oriented in a tilt, for instance, I could have really nice polarization with one of those antenna. And it folds down real nice and easy for transport. You could take these little coffee straws out and it's really easy to transport like that. The build is very sturdy and really well designed. The folks at Flying Cinema do a great job to put a lot of thought into their engineering of their builds, and the accessibility and ease of use on this craft is just amazing. You really can get to any of the different platforms quite easily. The bottom platform here has a little hatch on the bottom that you can open up, so you can get in there and work with your ESC and add any other stuff that you might want into that lower bay. Then when you get into the middle bay section, which is really well dampened, you're able to put the battery and adjust that where you want, your flight controller, your gimbal controller, and then you still have this whole top area where I've put both my radio receiver, and then up front, separated from my radio receiver, is my video transmitter. To set off the build and add a little bit of color and flair, I added the Ready Made RC Fire LEDs. The 3528 sized lights fit perfectly into these little spaces on the arm holders for the CineTank, and it really makes for a neat way to light up your craft. What I've done is run the wires through the arms just like the motor wires are for a nice clean build. So all that's tucked away and you don't have anything exposed really past the lights themselves. So let's go see some flying. The CineTank MKII is available now at Ready Made RC, along with all the other parts I've shown in this build. For more info, check out the video description on the YouTube link. For Ground Station TV and Ready Made RC, this is Dave. Thanks for watching.